Well, it's that time of year again where clubs get their much needed week off to recover and reset for the second half of this grueling season. It may not be the same without your club playing this weekend, but so is half the league, and then next week the other half will have that weekend off. It's called the split round for that very reason. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. What's that? There hasn't been a split round since 2010. Oh, okay. I guess there's 3 bye rounds. A bit longer than what we prefer, but it's only one extra week, and at least that means 6 sides a week get a break. Right? Still pretty even to say the least, I reckon. Wait, what are you saying? There's 5 bye rounds? That's actually quite a lot. It must be some kind of mistake. Hey? What do you mean that's everyone's second bye? Byes for no round? What? What? Who designed this? Seriously? Fine, let's talk about the byes. It seems to me that the AFL continuously finds creative ways to mess up this already unpopular method when it comes to player rest and safety. Not just the concept itself, but also how it constantly becomes more convoluted with each passing season. It all started when the Adelaide Crows first came into the AFL in 1991, where bye rounds were first introduced, which consisted of at least one club having a bye every week and occasionally multiple throughout the season in order to make it as fair as possible for a 15-team competition. This lasted until 1995 when Fremantle entered the comp and led to the creation of the split round in the middle of the season, or as they did it back then, after everyone played each other once by round 16. This continued on in the next few seasons, especially after the Fitzroy merger and the introduction of Port Adelaide. In hindsight, the split round was a perfect system for a 16-team competition. However, with the inclusion of Gold Coast and GWS, a split round wouldn't be feasible at all for an 18-team comp. Therefore, 3 bye rounds were the substitute. 6 games were played, while 6 clubs had the bye. And now, here we are near the end of 5 bye rounds for the 8 sides that didn't play an opening round, while the remaining 10 are heading into their second bye. It would be easy to point the finger at the AFL head honcho Andrew Dillon for allowing such malarkey to occur, but to me it'd be like blaming the Prime Minister. Yes, that person in position at top deserves some blame, but that would be ignoring the people behind the curtain that play a major role in running the shit show. People like Josh Bowler, the head of strategy and scheduling for instance, can technically be seen as a scapegoat, but it's also the people he works with that help create the madness. Particularly his buddy slash friend slash guy from Canada, Rick Stone, whose supercomputer would be better off calculating solutions to the cost of living and whether or not natural gas is the way to go than building a fixture for a sport whose country of origin is 11,800 kilometres away. Okay then, time to figure out how to overcomplicate an already broken fixture for a country that's never had a blizzard or even a mild snowstorm. I'll just type in here and add more bytes. You're a freaking genius, computer! Oh, sorry, pussy. However, the fixturing the whole rubbish process is a topic for another video. But what I will touch on is how the said process continues to absolutely overcook the bye formula like an overcooked snag at Bunnings. A main feature of this supercomputer is that it can calculate an infinite amount of possibilities when it comes to the fixture, such as days, time and location, yet it can't tell them that having 5 consecutive bye rounds is absolute rubbish. It doesn't benefit clubs because there are too many clubs who share a bye after a club from opening round who had their second bye, and speaking of which, the clubs from said round who played each other do not share the same first bye, repeating last year's piss fartery when Cyclone Alfred forced the Queensland games to be moved to later dates. It also makes no sense mathematically because 5 doesn't go into 18, leading to 4 byes with 4 teams and 1 bye round with 2 teams. Supporters then like 3 bye rounds? Well, now there's almost triple that thanks to the AFL's lust for that Northern State money to rub in the NRL's fat face. Normally when I plan out a video, I would set the due date at around the start of the round, but because of the erratic nature that the AFL scheduled these byes, I was able to take more time in preparation and in doing so managed to find more flaws in this already flawed system. Or maybe I just got lucky through my procrastination, I'm not sure which. I mean, sure, they might have fixed that stupid thing when they first started opening round when they had teams coming off their second bye playing a team that hadn't had their bye yet. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that there's 5 bye rounds when 3 bye rounds would work perfectly for an 18-team competition. Not to mention that if they didn't have opening round in the first place, we wouldn't have this debacle. But then again, like I said about the fixturing, that's a video for another time. What makes these flaws even worse, however, is that this will more than likely be viewed as tame in the next few seasons when the Tasmania Devils enter the league, and will undoubtedly lead to the much despised bye-week structure of 2011 when Gold Coast entered. On top of all that structure will remain until eventually the 20th side comes into the comp, which won't come anytime soon because the AFL can't decide which of their precious markets will bring them the most revenue. Some reckon it'll be probably Darwin. Well, guess what? The AFL will probably put it in Cairns to try to stick it to Bob Catter.
Oh, mate, don't say that.
However, there is hope that maybe when the 20th side arrives, that the AFL will finally come to their senses and free themselves of the shackles they cuffed themselves with in the form of this fixture model, and will triumphantly re-establish the split round and pat themselves on the back for bringing back an old concept they took away. Or they'll probably just double down and go all for nothing with the Canadian supercomputer and have a Friday night doubleheader for every round.
Bye, bye, we're gonna have a bye.